Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Amtelco Insider webinar. This is Gloria Fruit, Product Manager at Amtelco, and I will be your host. Today's webinar topic is miSecureMessages Tips Webinar 1. It is being presented by Misha, our Amtelco Implementation Specialist. We will be recording the webinar, and once the recording is converted, we will place the recordings on Tech Helper and YouTube. Please allow 10 to 20 business days for this process. We have muted all attendees' audio to eliminate any background noise, hold music, etc. I will be monitoring the chat window during the presentation, so we ask if you have any questions, please send them via the GoToMeeting chat window. We will then answer all questions at the end of the webinar. So with that, Misha, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. Hi, my name is Misha. I'll be your presenter today. So let's begin. So the topics we'll be covering today are simplifying user registration with email registration, sending attachments within miSecureMessages, and using miSecureMessages for mass notifications. For our first topic, email registration, in order to get to any of the user registrations, first we'll go to, on the left side of the screen on the admin web, you'll find the group tab. You'll find the specific group that you're looking for in the drop-down. In our case, it's the Misha's test group. You'll edit it, and then on that next screen, you'll find the registration type. Now, there are three types of registration that you can have. You have self-registration, admin registration, and email registration, which we'll be discussing last. For the first one, self-registration, this option allows the users to register a mobile phone or tablet or any other web-based device to a specific group. To get in, they will need to have the account ID, for example, something like 1235.9.ff1d, and they'll enter it in the screen like we see down below on the left-hand side here. And once they've put that in and entered, we'll get to the next screen, the one on the right, which will allow them, which will ask them to either log in or create an account. Now, if we already have the login information for this specific user, your admin will be able to hand that information out, and the user just can log in right from here. If they don't, we'll hit the create a user screen, and then they'll be directed to this screen instead, and they can put in their information, their password, and go from there. Now, the next type of registration that we have is the admin registration. Now, along with giving our users the account ID, they'll also have to put in a registration password, which can be set up in the group settings under the little listed as registration password. And this will have to be put in regardless of whether they already have an account or if they need to create a new one. This method is helpful to create multiple steps of authentication. Now on to email registration. For email registration, the real benefits of that is it really takes all of the user error out of the equation. It allows the admin to have control of all the passwords, the standardizing the login names, and granting who has what credentials to a specific group. Now, before we can even get into the email registration, we need to make sure that everybody knows how to set up their email server properly in miSecureMessages. So in order to see if you have that all set up properly, on the left-hand side, there will be a tab that says Configuration. You'll hit that, and then on the screen, you'll find the email registration settings. There you need four things. You'll need server, port, from address, and from name. And once you've had all that information once you've put that all in there, A good way to test to see, make sure it all works, is there's a button at the bottom that'll say Send Test Email. Once you hit that and you've confirmed that you've got it and all that's good, then we can move on to the next part, which is making sure that all of the contacts that you want in your group have an email associated with them. Now, the way to get that is you'll go on, find the Contacts tab on the left-hand side. Then you'll find whichever contact, whether they already exist or whether you need to create a new one, and you'll see that there is an option to put in an email. In there, that's where you put in whatever valid email that individual wants to have associated with that contact. And then once we have all that in there, we can then associate them with the proper group. And there are a couple different ways to do that. One way is you'll go through the group properties. There'll be an option to take all of the currently existing contacts and bring them over to the group that you want. You'll just simply select the proper contact and then hit the register button. Or what you can do is when you're creating the contacts, there'll be an option right underneath where it says groups, and you can just add the group and put them to the correct group right there. That way it's all done from the get-go. From there, we have what's called the email registration / reset timeout. Now, basically, what this is the link that you send out with the email to register in miSecureMessages can expire. You can set how long everyone has to respond to that link. Those settings can be found within the group settings part of the admin web, and it's listed as the same: email registration, reset timeout, and you put in the specific time that you want, the numbers, anything 1 to whatever, and you specify hours, minutes, so on and so forth. Then, for whatever reason, someone doesn't respond in the amount of time, very simple solution, just send the link again. No worries, no problems. And then we'll go on to the actual email that we have, that you will be sending and that these contacts will be receiving to register. All very straightforward. You get to it within the group, the editing the groups, and there will be a little tab that says email messages. You'll click that. You'll find this form, effectively, that is like any other email messaging system that you've ever used, probably. It's all formatted very similarly. The only one thing that's different, and this is the most important part, is the MSM items. And this allows you to bring over the display name, the registration URL, and the username. The most important part of that is the registration URL. Without that, you're just sending a regular email. Doesn't really mean anything. That is going to allow these individuals to then go and register. And then to send said email, the way you would do that is you'll go into the group properties, the contacts tab, and then on the right-hand side, you'll find all the contacts that you have registered to your group. You will select the individuals that you want to send the email out to, and then you'll find this blue button that says Send Email Registration. You hit that, it all goes out. If you need to resend it, just do the same thing, and there you go. Now, on to the next topic, sending attachments with miSecureMessages. Sending an attachment through MSM is basically as easy as any other platform, like a phone or an email or anything like that. Before we can even get into sending an attachment, we got to make sure that your licenses are enabled. Now, where do we go to do that? We go on the left-hand side in the admin web, you'll find this tab called Licenses. And underneath that, you'll see that whether or not you have any licenses available to you. And if you don't, we advise that you reach out to your Amtelco sales rep. They'll provide you with the whatever you need to acquire those necessary licenses. You'll see under purchase licenses, you'll find the attachment portion of it, and then to the right of that will be how many licenses you have available. And then licenses are also enabled per group. You'll find that on the same screen. Towards the bottom, there'll be a list of all of the groups associated with your system. In our case, we'll see Misha's test group, and it'll show you on the right the attachment size. Currently, it says we are at 0 megabytes. Now, we'll go into why that is important in a second here. Our attachment sizes, as we saw, is in megabytes, and it's always going to be in megabytes. This value determines the maximum size of files you are allowed to send in your attachments. What 0 means is that this feature is disabled. You cannot send any kind of attachments. Now, you'll find where this is in the group settings for your specific group. Now, what we're seeing here below is within the app on an iPhone. You'll find this little icon next to the messages that you're trying to send. And if you hit that, when you have 0 listed in attachment size, you'll find that the only option that comes up are quick phrases. You can't really send any attachments. But if you change that value to anything other than 0, in my case, I put down 100 and then hit that same icon, you'll now notice that you have a number of new options. You'll be able to send photos, videos, and audio. Now, most sites we're finding are utilizing the attachments in MSM to send over records, training documentation, and various voice memos. And you'll be able to track all of these messages and attachments in the Messages tab on the left-hand side of the admin web. And like I said, it tracks every message sent. So don't be sending nothing that's questionable over MSM. It's a bad plan. And on to our final topic for the day, we have using miSecureMessages for mass notifications. Now, along with MSM's capability for secure device-to-device messaging, many sites have been utilizing its ability to send mass notifications to users. The Amtelco's MSM solution is viable for replacing many other contact-based solutions, as the data that's being sent is secured and fast. And for example, matched with Red Alert licensing, an admin or operator is able to send out a mass notification to all their MSM users. Whether the scenario is for code procedures, company updates, or contacting a group of individuals, MSM can be the solution. Now, where to program this? This will also be within your group settings. You'll find what's called the maximum contacts/thread. A value of 0 within this specifies that it's able to go out to an unlimited amount of people. You can create a message to go out to however many people you want. But we do recommend that you don't go over 500 people, because if you do, we can start experiencing some slowdowns, and it's just not worth going over 500. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you, Misha. Again, I do want to reiterate that we were recording this. We will be placing it on Tech Helper or YouTube. Again, please allow us 10 to 20 business days for the conversion and to get it placed out on Tech Helper or YouTube too. So right now, I'm not seeing any questions come in. So we can, again, end this webinar. And again, I thank you, Misha, for all this valuable information. And I thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us for this Insider webinar. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.